Hello, everyone. Today we will be comparing the population changes and models of two cities. We are both tasked with creating models for population growth to present to our respective census bureaus. The cities we will be comparing today are Rochester and Beijing. The two cities are largely different in all economic, political, and population factors. Rochester is overall a failing city that has seen significant damage from the absence of economic growth factors. Overall, Rochester is a small, stagnant, failing city. Although the city is failing, the population is still growing at a pretty steady rate.
Beijing is generally saturated in population as the usable resources are limited after 80 years of excessive development. The keywords for the characteristics of Beijing are big, saturated, and robust in input and output. And now we're going to introduce some similarities and differences in our model.
Now, the similarities in our models is that we both use the natural exponential function to model the relationship between time and population. We both, however, had different reasons for using the function. The reason I used the natural exponential function was because my population was still increasing at an increasing rate, but that rate of increase was very small compared to the total population. Anakin's reason was similar, although his was at a much larger scale.
And we are different in the way that we came up with the constants parameter in the natural exponential model. So in my model, the pro is that I use past data to predict the case in the future. It is likely to be true because in the trend happens in the past is very likely to be the case in the future. So by using a sufficient amount of past data, the constant parameters in the model controls the predicted data to associate with the past trend. But there's also cons. One con is that certain historical events are also taken into consideration. And a calculation of the model where Quinn's model used the latest parameters that disclosed anomalies brought by those events.
Now, there are some constraints of the model. Starting with, if the domain goes towards positive infinity, the rate of change of the range gets larger and larger. If we take the first derivative of the function, it helps us visualize the spiking trend of the curve. Now, if we take the second derivative of the function, it is a steeper increasing trend with the algebraic expression of m times e to the nt times n squared. The practical meaning of this situation in population modeling is that your population is going to get too large in the far future. However, this is not the case as we have a slower rate of change as the population trends towards a carrying capacity.
In conclusion, by comparing both methods in predicting the population of the cities, we believe that our method only work well if the targeted city possesses similar characteristics. So we can consider a city that has similar characteristics as Beijing, which has a larger magnitude of population input and output, and it is more inelastic in population. It means that the city is less likely to be affected hugely by population decay incidents. Vice versa, we can say that a city that has similar characteristics as Rochester, which has a smaller magnitude of population input and output, is more elastic in the population. It means that the city is more likely to be affected by population decay incidents.
The term population elasticity is a significant concept in the model selection. Therefore, in response to the request of the Census Bureau, the prediction method of the population can be varied in detail while calculating constants by the characteristics of the cities. In general, we can still use the natural exponential function as a base for modeling future populations. Thank you for watching, and like and subscribe.